Resilience, the ability to bounce back after a setback. Resilience, the ability to bounce back better, stronger than you were when you went into handling that adversity or that setback. In this video, we're going to talk about 2 ways that you can bolster, you can build your own personal resilience to become a more resilient individual, a little more gritty than you were at the start of this video. My name is Eric Herman. I'm a professional speaker. I speak on leadership and building resilience and overcoming adversity. So let's start with one of the easy-ish, if you will, ways to build your resilience. Add a little friction into the normal daily routine things that you do. So, for example, you got to run to the grocery store. Instead of parking really close to the building, park way in the back, way far out. Take the longest distance possible to walk into that store and walk back out. Now, you might be saying, wait a minute, I'm going to Costco and I'm going to have a big giant cart full of heavy things. That's right. You know what I'm going to say. Still park at the back. Push that cart all the way from the front of the store all the way to the back of that parking lot. Just add a little bit of friction to a lot of the things you do. Maybe you go out for a walk and you walk out 10 minutes and you typically walk back 10 minutes. This time, walk out 10 minutes and find a route that takes you 20 minutes to get back. Make it just a little longer. You go out for a run. You're going to run 3 miles. Maybe run 3.5. Maybe just push it just a little bit. Take the long way if you're going to go a certain route. Take the long way. Add a little extra to it. Just a couple extra 2, 3, 5 minutes will do you wonders. You said it can be things that I'm normally doing that day? Absolutely. Let's say you're working out that day. You're going to go to the gym, do a weight workout, a resistance training workout. And you normally do, for every exercise, 3 sets of 12 reps. This particular day, decide to do 3 sets of 15 reps. That's right, the same weight you might be doing 12 with, but do 15. That'll really push you to grind out those extra 2 or 3 or 4 reps. That'll build your resilience. Going to lunch? Eat that entire lunch with chopsticks. That's right, just a little bit of friction, right? You're still going to be able to consume your food. You're still going to have lunch. But oh yes, there is going to be some resilience building. You're going to have to become an adaptable creature to get that food in with chopsticks. Maybe you are watching this in the morning, excuse me, and you haven't taken a shower yet. Go take a cold shower. Now, make sure you're of able body and mind to do that. Please consult your healthcare professional before trying any of these. But take that cold shower. Just do your showery thing in a cold shower. I guarantee you'll feel better once you get done with it. But it'll clear your head, it'll give you a little dopamine hit, and you'll feel just much more invigorated, if you will, at the same time building your resilience. Now, I promised you 2 ways to build your resilience. That's a little easy one, right? That's kind of easy. You can just kind of add a little friction, a little extra here and there, extra few reps, take the long way home. I normally take the elevator, escalator, take the stairs, just things like that will start to build your resilience on the daily. One of the biggest ones, I promised you 2, 1 small one and 1 big one. Here comes the big one. Sleep. The most resilient people, not just anecdotally in my experience and from what I know, but according to the research, some of the most resilient people will definitely make sure that they get the required quality and quantity of sleep that they need every single night, or as close to every single night as possible. Do they sometimes miss it? Of course. Do they miss it 2 or 3 nights in a row? Absolutely not. They get right back on track. But they try and will prioritize their sleep above everything else. That means if they have to get up a little earlier, they go to bed a little earlier. That means they know if they need 7.5 hours of sleep to perform at their best, that requires them to be in bed 8.5 hours because of the little waking and getting up to use the restroom and that sort of thing will happen. They prioritize their sleep. How's this work? Wait a minute, I thought this was resilience was in building your resilience, is doing a little harder things. Yeah, that was tip number 1. Tip number 2 is a way to have more resilience without really doing much. That is sleep. Sleep gives us the capacity, the wherewithal, the machinery, if you will, to get through a lot of the adversity, a lot of the daily stressors that we get hit with. People sometimes say sleeping is a superpower. No, it's not. Sleep gives you superpowers, and it makes us more resilient, getting the quality and quantity of sleep that we need. Each and every one of us has a different need and want in that area to be our best self, but getting that sleep will definitely build your resilience. I mean, think about it. We've all had those nights where we've had short sleep, where we would normally need to sleep 7.5, 8 hours, and we have 6 or 5.5. The next day, you were a hot mess of awful, weren't you? You were edgy, you were agitated, little things set you off, you snapped at people, you're very reactionary. But yet, that night that you had sore sleep, you went to bed and you got to sleep, and you woke up the next day and you're like, who was that? I'm not acting like that today. It was simply fueled by the lack of sleep. So prioritize your sleep. Again, some of the most resilient individuals, you're thinking, well, wait a minute, they're special operators. Do they get their sleep when they're in a threatening area, a hot zone, if you will, the theater of war? Absolutely. They're very mindful of when they slept last and what they've got to do and when that opportunity is going to be to make that sleep happen for them, because they know to be their best self, they're going to have to get that sleep. It used to be a badge of honor if you were an intern or a resident at a teaching hospital, that if you were working on a 24 or 48-hour shift to go without sleep. Now they know that that's not a good thing. So now it's a badge of honor. It's to be able to talk. Yes, I've worked for 12 hours straight, but I'm going down and I'm going to take and get 4, 5, 6 hours of sleep so that when I do wake up or have to wake up, I'm a little bit closer to my best self. You see, even if they don't get the ideal amount of sleep, they're always aware and mindful of that and trying to get that. And I think that's a good takeaway here. You may not be able to flip the switch or flip the switch off and go to sleep, turn the lights out, but be mindful of, what do I need to do to make that happen, and try to keep moving things in that direction. Even just the trying to make that happen will build your resilience in even small but yet meaningful ways. So thanks for watching the channel. Be sure to like and subscribe this video, forward and share with as many people as possible. And of course, as I always say, take care of yourself so that you can take care of each other. And I'll see you again in a video in the near future.